Our next speaker is from one of the other coalition organisations. As Alex has said, there's a coalition of 6 organisations that have been organising the regular marches and demonstrations. She's from the Muslim Association of Britain, Yasmine Adam. We're very pleased to welcome you here. Thank you.
Brothers, sisters, friends, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Peace be upon you all. Now, my colleagues before me have spoken about the escalation that took place on Saturday, and we can't see that detached from the ongoing demonization and weaponization against the Palestine movement over the past 15 years. But more so, we can't detach it from the government's continuous demonization of all our freedoms. We can talk about the police bill. We can also talk about prevent and the increased use of terrorism legislation against primarily, disproportionately against Muslims. We have numerous numbers of people that have been detained under the Terrorism Act these past 15 months, and over the past number of years as well. Keir Starmer just recently has proposed an increase and an expansion of terrorism legislation in this country. Now, all that is to say that it cannot distract us from what is taking place. They will throw everything at us. They will attempt to arrest lead organisers. They will attempt to shut down protests. I stand here as a proud member of an organisation that the government attempted to list on an extremism ban. However, and like I said, that can't distract us from what is happening now. There's a fragile ceasefire taking place. Israel has already broken it numerous times over the past couple of days. The fact that today the youngest Palestinian hostage being released is a 15-year-old boy should tell us that this fight is nowhere near over. We are not just campaigning for the end of the bombing and the end of the genocide. We are campaigning for the end of administrative detention, the end of the occupation, and the entire settler colonial regime. And despite what the government is trying to do, despite what the state institutions are trying to do, we should be proud of our movement. We should be absolutely proud of what we have achieved. It wasn't the goodwill of David Lammy that stopped him that prevented him from banning less than 10% of UK exports. F-35s are still flying, made in the UK, are still flying over Gaza. But it wasn't David Lammy's goodwill that stopped those exports. It was the power of our movement. And the government knows that. And again, the government will try to shut us down time and time again. And that is why this is a moment for Gaza. This is a moment for the Gaza resilience. Their joy, their freedom is our pride. It's also a moment for us, for our movement as well. This victory of the Palestinian people, this fragile ceasefire, proves to us that when we stand together, regardless of what the government throws at us, we are completely unstoppable. The government had hoped that by this point we would tire, that we would stop, that we would reduce our efforts, that we would be good citizens, that we would be compliant, that we would be the quiet, compliant people. The government also wants us to believe that this genocide is less outrageous than the government's crackdown on us. The government's crackdown on free people around the world protesting against the genocide has been more than the genocide itself. The government wants to distract you from the fact that it's complicit. The government wants us to believe that accountability is optional. Our message cannot be more clear. Accountability is not optional. Accountability and just as accountability is not optional, neither is Palestinian liberation. They don't get to set the ceiling of our movement. We do. And our vision and our dream is a Palestine that is liberated from the river to the sea. A Palestine where people from Gaza, all the way to Jenin, all the way to Jaffa, from Haifa to Ramallah to the sacred city of Jerusalem are liberated and can live in dignity and can live in absolute freedom. And the government wants us to think that we are the biggest national security threat to this country. So I'll end on this. The call for Palestine liberation is not optional. The right to protest against this genocide is not optional. Holding the government to account is not optional. They want us to believe that what they do is the only possible future for us. We must and can believe that Palestine liberation has never been closer. That our movement has gone from strength to strength, and with every intimidation tactic will only go from strength to strength and grow stronger. Our movement is unstoppable. And when we set the terms of our movement, when we define our ceiling, nothing can stop us. Not this government, not the next, and none that will come thereafter. So from now, let's start our journey to Palestine liberation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yasmine, speaking from the Muslim Association of Britain. I want to tell you that in the meetings we have with the police sometimes, Yasmine is on fire. You know, if you can go toe-to-toe with police in a Zoom meeting, she goes toe-to-toe with them. She's absolutely brilliant, taking them down sometimes. We've got three more speakers we're going to squeeze in. So